Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Whoa.
careful.
Okay, go ahead.
好，我们现在在那个 Yering Station， 那这个是首席酿酒师 Willy。Just introducing Chinese.
Oh, cool.
那他今天非常的忙哦，所以我们好不容易抽到他一点时间。
所以你要跟着他走。
对，所以我们现在跟着他走。So we're so busy, we just follow you around.
No, it's funny. We're a bit of a joint venture with a winery in China.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Joint venture?
Well,
And you have a joint venture with a champagne company in
Champagne.
in Champagne, yeah.
I mean, which is, and we've been doing since '93. So
93.
Champagne de Vaux. So the wine that you saw going off this morning is Yarra Valley, which is our sparkling wine.
Yes.
And that's a joint venture between Champagne de Vaux and Yering Station.
And the joint venture in China is just starting.
Oh, it's pretty loose. It's really one of the Yering, a Chinese winemaker from Jabalan,
I think it's
in Ningxia,
Yeah, Ningxia.
Ningxia.
called Chateau Helene.
Yeah, 贺兰山. Right?
荷兰山.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Helan
okay.
Shan.
Okay.
Yes.
And so she came over here last vintage,
Wow.
and so we gave her a 5-ton fermenter, and she made some wine. So
Oh, nice.
the idea is to go on,
And mostly for what style they are after?
well, this was Cabernet.
Cabernet.
So
okay.
blanc to blanc. She's gonna make champagne. Or
No,
she's
no,
gonna
no,
make
no,
sparkling?
no. This
Cabernet.
is
Still
a
wine.
red table wine.
Oh,
Oh,
But
Cabernet
it's
Sauvignon.
just something
Okay.
we're sort of playing around with. So there's no, I mean, it's the Wine Republic, which is our
Chardonnay.
distributor in China. They distribute Jabalan. So it's more just
This could be
I don't want to go over there and do the same thing, make a bit of wine in China.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
What? So where your Pinot? We're most interested in your Pinot Noir, really. I mean, the Pinot Noir is.
Because I use
Yeah.
Pinot Noir in my diversity program.
Oh, great.
And trying to let students experience, how would you define the Pinot Noir characteristics from your area, from here
as
compared
distinct
to,
from Burgundy.
Yeah, from
Right.
Burgundy or from...
Look, I'm pretty blunt about it. We're not in Burgundy. When you
You're
look
not in
at
Burgundy
and you see
anymore.
gum trees and kangaroos, that's not Burgundy. I've been to Burgundy, never seen a real in my life. So each area, whether it's Yarra Valley, Burgundy, Oregon, Central Otago, are all going to have unique characteristics.
Yes.
And that is driven by primarily soil and climate. Maybe clone, vine age, spacing, some of those things, but primarily it's climate and soil type.
Oh, yes.
So here, our wine's naturally going to be a little more elegant. We have good structure, but we have more elegance. We have more of that sort of what I would call we get earthy spice, but fruit flavours, it's more black cherry, maybe blackberry type. Compared to, say, Burgundy, the fruit is be a little more forward. Compared to Oregon, probably less.
Yeah.
Oregon's very
Yes.
new
Right, that's right.
soils,
Yeah.
very
But not as
fertile.
earthy as Burgundy either, right?
No.
No. Yeah.
We get more of what I call that briary sort of savouriness.
Oh, okay.
But savory.
More savoury,
Ah.
but we get elegance. If you look at, say, Otago, they have this quite big structure, but they
It's more fruitful for sure, right?
but it sort of has the tannin feel is firmer, little more grit, but this firmness. It's got what I call an arid sort of character to it, and when you think about Otago, it's cold and dry. So here and you might be able to see out here, this is not a very good spot to shot, but we're here on the valley floor. So we grow a little bit of Pinot here, but we mainly concentrate on things like Shiraz and Cabernet, because this is the warmest part of the Yarra Valley. Over here is Coldstream Hills in the middle of the valley. That's where we concentrate on Pinot Noir, because that's where we get these silky, elegant flavours, this sort of femininity, and that's the style. The style's driven by where the grapes are grown, not by some
Right.
idiot,
So you
some
grow.
idiot
So your
in a
Pinot is
stripy
mostly
shirt.
across the valley in
We grow a little bit here,
Yeah.
but for certainly our reserve estate, even our village, we tend to use a lot of fruit from the middle of the valley. We might use a little bit from a bit further up the hill, where you get a little more red cherry, and then we'll get that silkiness in the middle of the valley, and then on the valley floor, if we make a wine and we think, okay, I need just a little more grip or structure, I might use a little bit of valley floor material to give it that sort of weight.
Okay, and for the tannin, I read a little bit that you do some like whole cluster fermentation, or
We do a little bit of it.
Okay.
So when we're making Pinot, the site's critical. So regardless of whether I'm here or the next winemaker or whoever, the style's driven by where those grapes are growing. So you've got to have the right aspect, the right slope, the right aspect, the right soil, right drainage. Low crop, well maintained vines will give you that, what I call middle palate concentration.
Okay.
So that middle palate to
Yeah.
length, you cannot generate that in a winery. You can only get that from low crop, well grown vines. Then what we do is we'll hand pick it, de-stem it. So I like lots of whole berries.
Okay, the whole berry, yeah.
Whole
Okay,
berries.
Whole berries.
And then we'll put it up into these open top fermenters, and we turn on the sides here, you can see plates. We turn the plates on and we cold soak it for about a week.
Okay.
And that's what gives you that sort of silkiness, that sort of juicy sort of silkiness. And then we'll start to plunge it. We'll inoculate it. Again, I'll show, we culture up all of our own yeast. We inoculate it and then we'll work the cap, and we'll rack it down and pump it back, or just hand plunge it, or whatever we decide to do. We do, in a warmer year like 2013, which was not a hot but a warm year, we'll use a little more whole bunch, but really the most is about 10%.
10%.
And in a cool year like 2011, we don't use any, because the stalk, you don't get flavour from stalk.
No.
You get a bit of grip, and we don't have any problem with colour. But try eating a stalk one day. They're pretty dry and tannic and not very flavoursome.
It's okay.
That's why you eat grapes and you leave the stalk behind.
And also, I'm also curious about the Italian grape varieties in this area. Are they like
Nebbiolo.
Nebbiolo and
We grow a
Sangiovese?
little bit of Nebbiolo. Over here on the western end of the valley where it's the warmest.
Stand closer.
It's not a great... sorry, I'm a bit scary and
No,
smelly.
have your skin.
There you go.
The Nebbiolo is that we make. It's probably not the best clone. I don't have a huge amount of experience making Nebbiolo, but some of those Italian varieties will be important.
Sangiovese.
And we grow a little bit of Sangio, which actually, because it ripens similar time to Cabernet. Again, we've only got one vineyard of Neb and one vineyard of Sangiovese. But, in Australia, there's some great places for Cabernet, and so, when you go out trying to sell wine, which I don't do very often, because I'm not very good at selling, is that, people look and go, oh, Sangiovese, lovely, I'll have a Cabernet. It's like we do a Marsan Viognier,
Right.
which we only sell out of
Northern
cellar door,
Rhone.
because it's too hard to, people look and go, look, it's a lovely wine.
But if I show them...
No, I go, have a Chardonnay. And, as a farmer, it's, I only spend a little time selling, so I want to...
You call it Australian coat roti, they probably...
Well, yeah, no, we've hopefully got away from all of the Australian misnaming things, but...
Yeah.
But they grow well here, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and so it's not, how to say that, if it's not because of the popularity, they can actually grow well and they can make good wine too.
Yeah, I mean, Australia's a very diverse country.
It's not really a country.
We're cool climate here in the Yarra Valley, So we're pretty limited to what we can grow. So we concentrate on Chardonnay, Pinot and Shiraz.
Chardonnay, Pinot, and Shiraz.
And we do grow a little bit of Cabernet, but again, it's got to be on the warmer area.
Warmer.
Things like Grenache don't ripen here very well. The later varieties, Zinfandel, wouldn't grow very well here. So you're a bit limited to what you can grow, because if you haven't picked it by middle of April, late April, the season closes in, and then you're not going to ripen it any further. What's interesting viticulturally from here, tell me if I'm just rambling on, we've got Chardonnay grown on the valley floor here, and we've got Chardonnay grown 40 kilometres up the hill.
Yeah, on the hill and also on the top of the hill.
And about 450 metres, we're about 80 here to 450. We pick Chardonnay here 3 weeks earlier than we do there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Viticulturally, it's very significant.
I remember in your lecture, we get to taste Chardonnay from this 3.
So when you try Yarra Bank, that's Chardonnay Pinot grown in the Upper Yarra. Where that's gone at that sort of 450 metres, you wouldn't ripen the Pinot for table wine, and you'd be struggling to ripen the Chardonnay for table wine. So you come down the hill a little bit, and then you can. And then further down the hill, you get into a bit of Pinot, further down Shiraz, further down Cabernet. So that's why we utilise the different aspects of the valley to grow those different varieties.
Okay.
So
and you mentioned the cool climate. How would you define cool climate does it has the same definition here and the cool climate in France? Like,
look, I know that there's a lot of sort of climate or heat degree days and sunshine hours and all those sort of things, which is great to look on a spreadsheet, but it doesn't really mean it till you're there. So, the further north you go in the northern hemisphere, so the higher the latitude, you get more daylight hours in that growing window, sort of through summer. So I've never seen any great comparison, but compared to here, and I always look at it, the flavour of the wine should tell you where those grapes were grown.
Yes.
So we can't grow Barossa style, and I hate using the word style, but Barossa style Shiraz. Maybe higher in alcohol, but bigger flavour, bigger tannins. We can't do that here.
no.
We can't
You don't
make
need to.
no, and we can't make that big, rich Australian Chardonnay. If you love that style, you got to go to somewhere like Margaret River to get that. Here, are always going to be much more mineral, with what I call compression. So when you taste it, you've still got the density and volume, but the palate's compressed, so you get more of a line, what we call drive. But that's a function of where we're growing the grapes.
So it's more Chablisian here then, more.
Yeah, look, I don't really don't like comparison.
I want
only because that's not where we're there. And,
okay.
But this is the simplest way for students to understand, because they already learn about French wine, right? And you want to kind of connect their experience to the other region. This is what we have to try to, but not, like you say, once they get to learn more about wine from this region, you say, okay, now we don't need to have that connection.
So,
now we know.
Can I ask? I want to ask. Maybe you can speak to this. Could you define the Yering Station house style, say in Cabernet Sauvignon? In sparkling, how about that?
Oh, in sparkling, look.
Yeah.
It's what I would call premium Australian sparkling wine.
Premium.
So it's Pinot and Chardonnay, normally 50-50.
Okay.
Grown in the Upper Yarra, where you get more acid, so relatively cool to warm days, but cool nights. So you maintain a lot of natural acidity.
And do you have to harvest early than regular?
Yeah, I mean, that's the latest Chardonnay that we pick.
Okay.
But it's still, we pick it less ripe than we would table wine, because we want to maintain more of that acidity. But we're looking for cream, that sort of creamy, crisp, grapefruit sort of minerality, and that sort of and our dosage. So it's on yeast for 4 years, method champenois, so bottle fermented. and then but very low dosage, only normally about 3 grams per litre. But
Oh, that's still.
Wow.
Yeah.
again, that depends on the year. Like in a cooler year, maybe you use a little more sugar. In a warmer year, maybe a bit less.
That's-
Each year, you just make those decisions. We make it up as we're going on. But in terms of the style, what I have learnt from making wine in different parts of the world is that grapes tell you what you need to do to make good wine. If you use a recipe, I don't want to be involved in it.
Well,
I'd hate to say it, but that would be something like Coca-Cola. But no, it's we get one opportunity a year. So I spend a lot of time from here on in running around the vineyards. Not yet in terms of eating them because they're still green and hard, but going through and eating and looking at the sky and tasting the grapes and going, okay, I'm going to pick it now. Now we've got a laboratory and we do some analysis, but you can't analyse flavour. So I would hate to be in a situation where I was just stuck in an office going, okay, here's the numbers, right, we'll pick it then, without actually going out to that vineyard and eating the grapes and going, right, it's ready to go. And look, some years it's easy to do, and other years it's a bit more challenging.
Yes.
But it's pretty cool to, in a year like 13, which was wonderful, you go, nah, it's not quite ready today, we'll pick it tomorrow or the next day. And so, yeah, that's one of the great things. And that's why I look at it and go, I'd like to be more of a farmer than I am a chemist.
Okay.
There's a bit of both, but it's...
I think you're doing well either way.
But
Yeah.
so you're going to use some of those things that you learn in Oregon or France or New
Yeah,
Zealand
you
or
were in
wherever.
on Argyle, right? You were right at the beginning of Argyle.
1980s,
We love that.
right?
Yeah, I started there in the middle, late 80s.
It's
on
just
and off.
hard
so.
to believe that you were there when you were like 12.
Oh, no, I was younger than that. No.
That's right.
Thank you for being nice.
I
but
was
no,
like
no, no.
reading that about it. It
Yeah.
was like, wow.
Okay, we're going to stop the camera now.